everyone, welcome. It's Annette Green here, working in my vintage black Elizabeth Craft Designs full-size planner. I'm working in two of them because I am documenting my year of 2023 1 week at a time in my weekly series. And so I just do 1 page per week documenting my life, and of course it got so full that I had to start a second one to get through the year. So this is my second one here, and I got stuff everywhere because I have all these plans swirling around in my head. But if you joined me last week, you saw this cute little slider thingy when I was showing my week 34, which was all about my new release with Elizabeth Craft Designs. So there is that, and now we are working on the back page here. So if you are new and just joining me for the first time, welcome. You can always go back and watch week 1 through 34 if you so desire, or any ones that you choose to watch. I'm going to work on the back of this one here. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate you. There's some people I know that have been here every single week with me, and I really appreciate that. Okay, so like I said, I got a big mess of stuff everywhere, just kind of grabbed a whole bunch of things, and sometimes that's just how I start. I don't really know everything I'm going to use, but I just start grabbing a few things that I think I want to use. And so this week, just so you know, is going to be about pumpkin spice and pickleball, and teasing moments of fall, because it's a bit early. It's only September the 2nd today, but I really want it to be fall. And this was a beautiful sunset we had just last night, so I thought that I would incorporate that. So you can see the 3 pictures I have in mind, but then you see them again in a different, this one's the same size, but a little different configuration. This is just me using up the photo paper for one and not wasting any. And because I'm not sure, is that going to be the main photo? Is that one? Etc. So I just go ahead and give myself different options. I already know the sizes because I'm going to be working with my postage stamp dies, and I know that these dies that fit within those postage frames are a certain size, so that's how I got this size. Now, what kind of printer do I use? Canon Pixma TR8620, and I use HP Advanced Photo Paper. Nothing fancy, just regular stuff. Okay, what else do I have over here? Well, I had this scrap because I'm doing Create and Craft TV tomorrow. I've been making a lot of samples, and this was something that I used to make some fun little like Halloween pumpkins from my new Festive Harvest die set, which I'll show you. But I had done some dipping into oxides with the soft finish white cardstock, and I thought, well, I have this bit of scrap here, I could use it up. But I am going to make more because I want to show you how I did it. But I'm thinking about that big pumpkin being the place where my week 35 numbers will go. So I have those dies kind of laying here and ready. Like I said, I got my postage stamps. It is a new month, so I went to that set that I've been using each time we get a new month going. It's a full planner page set, the Planner Essentials 56 tickets and tabs set, but it has all these months here. And if you've been following me, you've seen me use those every time we change into a new month. So I have my September die cut out of my little strip here. We'll talk about the strip. And I got some brown paper for the back, cardstock. I also stamped out this, and this is something I think I've used before. This is CS 305, the Journal Phrases 2 stamp set from David Rodenberg. It's a full 1 stamp set. I mean, it's all together, 1 stamp. And you can cut it all apart, of course, and save all the bits and pieces. So I just go ahead and stamp the whole thing, and I'll save the rest, but I am going to use Time to Play, which was right up here, and Free Time, I think, because pickleball. First time I played pickleball. And like I said, I'm going to use the Festive Harvest new die set by me, the Everyday Elements line by me. I'm going to use quite a bit of this, so we'll play with that. And I pulled up an old stamp set. I knew there was a stamp set, Pumpkin Spice Season. I don't know if it's still available. This was back in the art journaling days before David, and it's super cute. But this right here, Happy Pumpkin Spice Season, I wanted that, and I knew we had that somewhere, so I might use that. I have it mounted on a block over here because, as you saw, one of my pictures is a Starbucks cup over here. And if you know me at all, you know I don't like sweet coffee, but once a year, when September hits, I go and get me a good old indulgent pumpkin spice latte. Just got to do it, you know? Okay, so what else do I've got here? I've got these strips stamped out as kind of playing around with different colors and combinations, so very fall colors. And these are actually new stamps from my festive season stamp set. And so you can see, I've been calling them like washi strips. You can call them ribbon strips, decorative strips, whatever you want, right? So I've just used this gingham kind of plaid checked one here and did it in a couple of different colors. I did do the, I'm going to call that the peppermint stripe, but really you can use it any time of the year for any kind of striped ribbon look. But that's what I did here with my September. I used the checkered one. Now, you might look at that and say, well, it's kind of short. Can it continue? And the answer is yes. There's a bit of an overlap here, and that overlap kind of guides you on where to overstamp in that one place and just keep on going down the line. You have one long strip. So that is possible. Okay, so I'm going to get going here. I think I'm going to do that oxide thing first to show you how I did that. All right, and when we work with oxides, they're kind of messy, so get out my non-stick craft sheet, which has lots of wear and tear, but works beautifully still. And a scrap of soft finish white. I'm just using the 90-pound. There's a thicker one, but really there's no need in this case. And I know this isn't centered in your camera. I mean in your view there, sorry. Hopefully it doesn't matter too much to you. But get this ready, and I've just grabbed like a bunch of different colors. Rusty Hinge, Wild Honey, Spice Marmalade, Carved Pumpkin in the oxide. I got a water bottle over here, and I don't know if I'll use all four. Let's just see. Definitely need a yellow, I think, because I'm looking at this one. It has quite a bit of yellow, so let me grab a yellow instead. I think I'll just throw in a little mustard seed. Fossilized amber is another option you could definitely do. Okay, this is where the fun starts. So I start with light color, little yellow, smushy, smushy. Carved pumpkin, smush. Maybe try not to push it right into what's already there. Spiced marmalade. It's hard not to touch it in there, but I don't think it will hurt anything. I'm going to hold off on the Rusty Hinge. I think that might be a little too much brown, but you know, we'll see. Okay, and that was Wild Honey, I said. Okay, so let's get a bunch of water on here. I love doing this. I haven't done this in so long. Now, over there, I did a little finger swirl. I don't know if it's terribly necessary, but I kind of like to do it. And I dip. Ooh, yeah. You can dip and drag if you like. I'm going to heat this, and I'm going to do another layer because I see it's very, very yellow, and I do want it to be a little more orange. But they do say before adding too much layers, you really should dry in between. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll clean this up, dry this off, and we'll do some orange. Okay, she's dry. Let's do a little more, a little heavier with the carved pumpkin. And I grabbed Crackling Campfire. Now I know this is a little deep. It's a little red. So I won't do a ton of that. And let's see what happens here. Little mix. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, a little more water. Dip and drag. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Okie dokie. I love it. I do love oxides very much, I have to say. Okay. Yeah, I think the Crackling Campfire is actually a nice little addition. Those few spots of really dark orange are very nice. Now I could keep going. I could keep layering because this is quite a bit darker, but there's some things we can do just after we get this set where we can enhance that color a little bit more. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to do the enhancing part until I'm die cut and ready to go. So I'm going to die cut a pumpkin. I've got some leaves here that are also from that same die set. I'm going to hold off on the stem. I've got some sunflowers, leaves. So I think I'll just go for all that. And I had one more pumpkin. I wasn't sure if I was going to use both. So let me find that and I'll be back. All right, while I was over there and I had the space, I went ahead and cut out 2 of the smaller flowers and 3 more of the leaves. So I just have extra. Don't know if I'll use them all, but I have them all here. They look really cool when you cut them out because you just don't know what you're going to get. And we'll do a little something to them, but that's what I have there. And I cut out my photos and I already had my postage frames ready. We do have to do stems on our pumpkins. So the idea here was, here's September, pumpkin spice down here, and the big guy. Now this one might need a photo mat instead of being right on the brown. We'll see. And then Walt and I playing pickleball. Like I said, that was my first time playing, and he plays all the time, so he showed me on a little court with nobody around, thankfully. But I did do very well, actually. I used to play a lot of tennis, so it kind of came back to me pretty naturally. But man, it was fun. I'm probably going to get paddles and a ball and a bunch of balls. Okay, so here we are. I'm just kind of taking a look at it, seeing if I'm happy with the colors, because it is going to go on this busy page here. Okay, and when I start laying this out, I don't think I like this particular burnt orangey red color that I picked for that one, especially when I see all this up here. And I did have some other scraps over here of different shades of orange. So I think I'm going to switch that out for that. So I'm going to have to die cut that postage stamp one more time. I went ahead and die cut 35 out of 2 different colors because I'm just not 100% sure yet which one I want to use. I was going to punch it right through, but I thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to get some numbers ready. And if I didn't say it before, the numbers are, of course, from the Stitched Letters and Numbers die set. Of course, I'll link everything below. I always do. I stamped Happy Pumpkin Spice Season with that same color brown that I stamped Free Time, Time to Play. And that is VersaFine Claire Pinecone color. Just something I had on hand. Okay, so now I'm getting really close to formulating some kind of layout here. So I'm going to get this glued onto here first so we can move it around as a unit and see how we like it. I have my little acorns over here. Thinking I might do something with those too. And oh, I got lazy, so I just die cut the stems out of that same, you know, colored paper. We were going to make brown or something, but while I was over there, I just figured I'd get that done. All right, so I have just spent about 10 minutes just laying things around, trying to get an idea. I've moved this all over the place, still thinking it through. But I'm getting there. I'm feeling it. Like, it's just starting to hit me like, okay, it feels good. I don't want to junk it up too much. Still want to make the focal point stand out there. And I don't think that I'm going to journal anything because, you know, it's not like a big long story. There is the pickleball. There's the racket. I don't think I'll say anything about that. So I'm going to do a little enhancing and coloring of these die cuts, get my photos actually adhered to those postage stamp mats so we can start moving them around together. I think that I've eliminated free time from the situation because time to play, that's good enough, right? I don't know. Okay, so let me play around and get these colored. Okay, I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this or not, but I don't care because I don't always follow rules. I am taking now Distress inks, not oxides anymore, to blend some more color and add some dimension to all these die cut pieces. And I'm thinking, why not? We've already dried and set the oxides. It won't make a big difference, will it? I don't know. I don't think so. I do have these little centers to the sunflowers already cut out over here. Some of them. I got some over here. I may have to go die cut some more, but anyway, you see how already that's taking a lot more dimension and shape and all that compared to this. You may not even see it in this one, how there are those little score lines in the die that give it that dimension, and the more you rub ink in that space, the more you see those. So that's why we want to do this. You can also probably achieve that with markers. In fact, you can enhance it even further if you don't see them enough when you ink it like this. You can do with markers to kind of just really accent that. Let's see, where's the big guy? Back here. We'll do it to that one too. Yeah, this is just a little too yellowy for me. I like to knock that down just a little bit. That's why I grabbed this fossilized amber for the outer edges. Still like a lot of that orange that's going on, but these are sunflowers, so we don't want them to be too orange. And this center goes in there. Make sure I get those lines to show up a little better. We can do the same with these. However, I think I want to start adding a little more reddish color to it. So I'm going to grab crackling campfire because that did look quite nice. And it's a bit red, so we have to be a little careful if we don't want things to be too red. And I'm liking that. That's cool. Now, there's no veins or anything in this die cut. You can add them with your scoring stylus if you like. I like having the ability to do either or and not have it dictated to me in this case. So I'm not sure what I'll do, but I don't think I'm going to score it. So I'm just adding some at the base here. This crackling campfire is perfect because it's like really, really deep orangey red. So that's nice for fall leaves. We can even add a little bit of green in there if we want, or some brown. I've got my gathered twigs right here. So why not toward the bottom? You can ink the outer edges too if you want. Might do that on these, I think, just to give it a little more. Now, if this was not a planner page, I would most certainly give these a lot of dimension and shape them on the foam pad and all that stuff. But we're going to keep it kind of flat here for the page layout. Now, I've got my two stems because I was lazy. I didn't cut them out of like cardstock brown, so I'm just going to brown them up. And then you get a little bit of that color showing through. It's not just solid cardstock, so that's kind of cool. So I'll do that to both of these. Okay, we're having a good inky time here. I grabbed the pumpkins and I'm adding carved pumpkin to get a little more orange. Just around the outside edge a little bit, maybe a little in the middle. I don't want to lose all that cool texture from the oxides. That's kind of fun. It's a little bright, so probably going to come in here with a little gathered twigs again. This is by just going around the outside edges, just kind of rounding those out. Pretty. Yeah, I think this was the last step that really needed to happen right here. Now, you know we have the layer in the die set that puts those little divisions between the pumpkins, you know, to accentuate their lines. But because I'm going to put my number 35 over the top, I think I'm not going to use those. So I'm going to get my stems on here. I'm going to darken these up just a hair. They look a little light to me. I love this real curly one. And these just glue right on top, so it's super easy to line it up. Take your time. Use some liquid glue so it slides into place. Okay. Okay, and when I got everything done, I realized there was no way that these lighter yellowy orange numbers were going to work on there. So I did them in brown. And I got these guys ready, and I grabbed a marker. Got the little centers ready to go in there. And so this one I've already glued on, but I wanted to try out the whole, you know, marker thing, just to give those lines a little more dimension, just to kind of accent them a little bit more. You could do this with an alcohol marker. I'm just using a water-based marker because I've been using oxides and distress inks. I felt like this was better. I don't know. So that kind of just really helps it stand out a little bit. And it's a small detail. Definitely one you don't have to do. But kind of helps. You obviously could do that with a darker marker if you wanted more of that kind of look. But I'm pretty happy with those. I'm going to get those centers in there, and then we're going to start to get this assembled. And as I was just getting ready to assemble, I looked over and I saw that I had all these over here still, and I still want to use more than just that one there. So I'm thinking instead of hole reinforcements, I'm going to actually use my little strips, but I'm going to cut them like I did here and make little ribbon tips top and bottom, and then ink their edges. And I'm just making just a small little V because I don't want these super duper long. And do I want them top and bottom cut? Or just the bottom? I think the top too. Maybe we won't like that. Let's find out. You can always fix it later. Okay, so just to get an idea, if this were laying back here like such, did it really make any difference to have that snipped off like that? Probably not. But do we want to cut it? I think we do. All right, so scratch that plan. We'll just nip those off, and just so they're the same length, I will cut this one. And we'll just use them as rectangles like that, just strips. You can grab like another page in your planner, or a template if you have one already cut, just to make sure you're getting these in the right place. I think I went a little high on my first one, and that's why I grabbed this page. But you'll see what I mean. Like when you go to cover up these holes, you don't know where the holes are anymore if you're putting your hand here. So if I have this to the right of me, I can kind of see. And I'm not going all the way to the edge. I've come in just a little bit, like so. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll repunch those holes, of course. Okay, almost forgot about you. I was gonna just get the whole page put together without coming back here. So I have half of these things down, and I'm just getting the rest of them. As you can see over here to the right, I've eliminated quite a bit of those things, but I'm not going to throw them away, of course. They may come into play somewhere else, somewhere down the line on something different. So I have my 35, I have my pumpkins together, and I always suggest like making units like that you know are going to be together as you are designing your page, just so that you know how they'll look in the position that you want them. Because if they're separate, you're just jockeying them around and they're shuffling all of your page. You just want to move them together. So I haven't decided yet if this will come on top. I think it's going to go behind, so that'll go next. I also punched those holes so I knew that I had room. I don't want this too, let's see if it's straight. Yeah, I don't want it too high into the photo, because as it is, we're starting to kind of crowd out our main image there. This I did want to go behind here, so I'll sneak that back there real quick. It could come on top. It's cute. On top, behind, on top. I hope you agree. I always feel like you're talking to me over there and I'm not listening to you. I'm not doing what you say. Okay, and then this guy. Walt, by the way, is a neighbor from our previous apartment and has befriended my husband Paul, and they smoke cigars together, and we have him over for dinner sometimes and vice versa. And even since we moved, he still hangs out with us, which is nice. Okay, and I did want to squeak these under there too, so I'll do that real quick. Okay, I do have those, but you know, it's getting a little busy, right? Are we happy? Shall we stop? I had something up here and I just felt like I was just filling all these spaces. I don't know if it's necessary. I think it's too much. No, this is one of those know when to stop things. So I am going to stop just like that. I'm happy with it. And week 35 is done. Okay, and my new release is available. It's out there. It's in stores now. It has been for about a week. And soon, probably in the next couple of days, it'll be available on the Elizabeth Craft Designs website. And I'm assuming after the Labor Day holiday here in the US. So maybe look Tuesday and check to see, have I updated the links below? And if so, when you click on the link and you make a purchase, you get 10% off your entire order. So there we go, folks. Thanks so much for joining me on week 35. I hope you like it. I will be busy tomorrow, which is Sunday, the day I normally do these videos, but I will be doing Create and Craft TV, debuting my new release. So I will see you next week for sure, and thanks again for watching. Changed my mind. I added it back in.